Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of In the Kitchen with Chris. Today we're going to be making chicken fricassee. I think you're really going to love this. This is compliments of a friend of mine, a French chef who works for the École de Trois Ponts in France. His name is Daniel Muguet, and this recipe is compliments of him, and I tweaked a little bit, but I think you're really going to like it. So the first thing we're going to do this recipe is we're going to saute some mushrooms, and so my student here, Manny Hernandez, and I are going to be turning on the flames, and we're going to get these hot. So Manny here is going to be sauteing the mushrooms until they're totally dry. This will take about 5 to 10 minutes, and if you have a stove like at home, it'll probably take like 15 to 20 minutes, so don't be surprised. So what you do is you turn the heat all the way up on very high, and you cook the mushrooms until they are totally dry, because one of the secrets of cooking with mushrooms is that if you don't cook out all that juice, it has a tendency to dilute the flavor of your products or your ingredients. Okay? All right. So I'm heating up my saute pan here, and we're going to add a little bit of butter, and we are going to saute our chicken breasts at the same time. So I have bone-in chicken breasts, just because I like the presentation a little bit better. So I went and bought some bone-in chicken breasts. All right? So on the mushrooms, they're not going to burn. Don't be afraid. Okay? Leave the heat all the way up on high, and as soon as it starts cooking, he's going to start stirring them slowly, and then he's going to do it until the moisture is totally evaporated. Okay? All right. Okay, so our butter's getting hot in the pan. All right. So we're going to get that just a little bit hotter, and then we're going to put our chicken in skin side down. This is important because the skin side is generally the presentation side, which means that's the side that's going to be up on the plate that your guests will look at. So you always start with the skin side down when you're sauteing, because the first side that you saute always looks better than the second side. It's because the pan hasn't been touched and there's brand new oil or butter or whatever in there. So always saute the presentation side down first. Okay. All right, so we're going to take our chicken, and we're going to lay it in the pan. And then after I get it in the pan, I'm going to sprinkle a little salt and pepper on there. And again, this recipe makes enough for about 4 to 6. About 4 to 6. Okay, so take our salt. And a little bit of pepper. We'll see if we can squeeze 2 more in there. I think we can. Manny, how you doing? Looking good, looking good. All right. Okay. Oh, I think we can get that last one in there. Very good. Okay. So we're going to start sauteing. And we want to give this a very, very good color on both sides because it's going to caramelize. So when it caramelizes, you'll have a very nice presentation. It'll look good on the plate, and it's also going to add some extra flavor. Okay, now our chicken are a beautiful golden brown on the first side. So we're going to take them and turn them all over. And at the same time, we are going to add cider vinegar to the mushrooms, and we're going to reduce them au sec. Au sec means you're going to reduce them so they are dry. So here's the cider vinegar, and we're going to add it right in. So he's going to keep stirring until it's all gone. All that cider vinegar is totally gone. And you can see how this chicken has a beautiful color. We're going to add just a touch of salt, not a lot, just a touch. And again, just a little bit of pepper. Now, you got to remember, you are not cooking this chicken all the way through in the pan. It's going to do that in the oven. Fricassee means that we're going to cook it 2 ways. We're going to saute it, and then we're going to poach it in the oven with the sauce that we're going to make in just about 1 minute or so. So as you can see, the mushrooms are totally dry, so he's going to turn the heat off and just let them sit on the side. So the mushrooms are totally done. So as you can see, if you do 2 things at once, you can save a tremendous amount of time. All right, the chicken is done, and what we're going to do is we are going to take it, and we're going to put the chicken on the side. So we're just going to put it on a pan, put it on a plate. It really doesn't matter. Put it on anything at all. Because remember, this still has to be cooked in the oven for approximately 45 minutes or so. So we have our pan, and we are going to add our onions, or shallots or onions actually. Either one will work great. And then we're going to add our carrots. And we're going to add just a little bit more butter because we need to make a roux in with the sauce. Okay? And a roux is essentially equal parts of butter and flour cooked that you add liquid to, you stir it, and then it thickens up, and so the roux is the thickening agent. Okay? R-O-U-X, roux. It's a classic French thickening agent. So as you can see, oh, you're doing good. All right, so he's going to keep stirring. And this will be ready in about 1 minute. So you do not have to cook it long because remember, this is still going to cook in the oven for about 45 minutes. So it's going to cook quite a while. All right, now we take our flour and we add it in because the carrots and the onions have cooked. This is on extremely high heat. We're also going to add the garlic now. If you add the garlic too soon, it's going to burn. So we added it at the very end because we want the garlic flavor, but we don't want it to burn. Okay? So he's going to take that, and he's going to keep stirring for a few minutes. Okay, give it about another 30 seconds or so. And then we're going to add our chicken stock, we're going to add our white wine, and we're going to add our heavy cream. Chicken stock, white wine, and heavy cream. These are going to give it some beautiful combination of flavors. And the white wine, which is very interesting, the white wine flavor will totally cook out. You won't even be able to taste the white wine after it's cooked in the oven. All right, so now Manny's going to switch over to a wire whip because if you don't switch to a wire whip, you could get lumps in your sauce. So we're going to add the white wine, and he's going to stir, nice and gentle at first so it all stirs in. And we're going to bring this to a full boil. We're going to bring this to a full boil, and then we're going to add the mushrooms, we're going to add the chicken, we're going to put it all in a pan, and we're going to pop it in the oven. So if you have a metal pan, use a metal pan. You have a ceramic, whatever you have, it doesn't really matter, as long as it gets in the oven and cooks. You could even leave it in the same exact pan right here, put it all together. If you have a large enough pan with nice tall walls, you can also just put it in the oven just like that. It's great. Anything will work. Just get it in the oven because you want to give it about 45 minutes at 350 to 375, right in there. 375, 350, that temperature will work great. So as you can see, we're going to bring this to a full rolling boil. We have a lot of BTUs in the stove here, so this will actually go pretty fast. We're going to add our heavy cream. So again, we need to bring this to a full rolling boil. All right. So while he's working on that, I'm going to take the chicken and I am going to place it in the pan. Remember, this chicken has not been cooked all the way through. It is still raw in the center. That's fine. It's going to cook in the sauce in the oven, tightly covered. Take at least 45 minutes. Approximately 45 minutes should be right on the money because this is chicken breast, which is white meat, and it cooks faster than dark meat. Okay, this is just about ready to come to a boil. Now remember, the sauce is going to look slightly thick right now. As it cooks and the chicken releases juices in the oven, it's going to get a little thinner. So don't be surprised looking at the sauce going, boy, this looks a little thick. It's actually just fine. Don't worry about it. Okay? All right, looking good. All right, so now we're going to take the mushrooms and I am going to put them right on the chicken. So we're going to scrape them right in because remember, these mushrooms have been infused with flavor of cider vinegar. Just a little bit of cider vinegar flavor they've been infused with. And if you add too much cider vinegar, it gets a little overpowering. So that's why it's only 1/3 of a cup for this recipe. It's not a lot. Okay, so as you can see, this has come to a full rolling boil. Okay, beautiful. So we'll turn this off, and we'll take this, and we will put it right over the chicken. Scrape the pan out with our rubber spatula. And again, you think that it smells a little strong right now of white wine, don't worry about it. That flavor is going to totally dissipate and it's going to be in the background. It makes for a very, very interesting flavor. All right, now something that I like to do is give this a little bit of a stir, because if you don't, the chicken has a tendency to stick to the bottom. But when you give it a little stir, what happens is the sauce goes to the bottom underneath the chicken, and then in the oven, it doesn't have any tendency to burn at all. So now we're going to take a piece of aluminum foil, and we're going to cover it up nice and tight. Okay? Cover this very, very tightly. You don't want any of the moisture to escape as it's cooking in the oven. And now we're going to take this and we're going to pop it in the oven, and no peeking for at least 45 minutes. No peeking. All right, our chicken fricassee is done. It's out of the oven. Now it's the moment of truth. Careful, don't get burnt. It's really hot. Here's another reason that I really like this recipe. You can do up to now anytime ahead. So for example, you could take this and cook it in the oven, and you could go ahead and cool this off, and then the next day reheat it. It won't be quite the same, but it'll be really good and it'll astonish your friends. So we're going to take 2 pieces of our chicken, and we are going to put it in the bowl. Okay, we're going to take 2 pieces because I'm hungry today. All right. And if you notice, I'm trying not to spill on the edge, so it looks nice and pretty. And then we're going to take some of our sauce. Now, here's something I recommend. I recommend that you check the consistency of your sauce, and if you'd like it a little bit thicker, to go ahead. Oh, I almost forgot. We have to taste it for salt and pepper. What's wrong with me? All right. If you want to thicken the sauce a little more, that's good. So if you want to make it a little thicker, then just put the sauce on the stove, let it simmer until it gets thicker. It's called reduction, and you can have a little thicker consistency. I think this personally looks really good, just like this. So we're going to, again, spoon some sauce with the mushrooms and the carrots right over the top. And we're going to add just a little bit of green for color. And again, if you wanted to add green, fine. If you don't, that's fine too. You can see I got one little dribble on the edge, so we're going to get rid of that. So there you have it. We have chicken fricassee. Takes about an hour to make or so total time. Once you have everything all prepared, I think it's pretty fast. It's pretty easy. But again, thanks to my French chef friend in France for showing me how to do this. I think it's a great recipe. I think you and your family will love it and enjoy it for years to come. Thanks for coming today. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.
For more information about culinary arts courses, degrees, and certificates, as well as other hospitality administration program offerings, visit their pages on the web at cod.edu.